keep it at about 3/4. Ooh, I'm out of tune already.
Is it 6? Oh, it is.
Yep. Yeah, sure. We're starting this slow. Be slow. We're starting to say shalom slow. Okay.
Getting a humidifier this week, Tuesday, and then February in the middle. She's coming out to bleach this week.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to TBS. It is cold and rainy and pretty gross out there, but it is warm and bright in here, whether you are joining us in person or virtually. We are glad that you are welcoming Shabbat with us. We'll begin, as we always do, singing together, Hine ma tov umanaim, shevet achim gam yachad, how very good it is that all of us are here together.
Ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Again. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. My turn. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Echo me. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Everybody. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim. One more time, a little louder. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We'll continue welcoming each other and singing as we are also embarking on this new year of 2024. So we'll sing Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. May we sing a new song, hopefully a song of peace in this new year. Shiru Ladonai.
Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Please join me. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai. Sounds so good. Let's do it again. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai. One more time. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai. Going on. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Baruch miyom leyom, Yashuato. Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Baruch miyom leyom, Yashua. From the top and faster. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz.
We're going to now welcome light and hope into our Shabbat evening as we light our Shabbat candles, and I'm happy to invite Joel and Paul to light our Shabbat candles for us. We want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a welcome or welcome back to TBS, and we want to take a minute to welcome each other. So if you could turn to someone you know or someone you don't know, even better, and say Shabbat Shalom and hi, so we can all welcome each other as a community. If you guys can keep playing that, that's so beautiful. As we head into Lachadodi, I'm going to dim the lights here and just give us a few moments to maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Think about what we may need to let go of from this week, what these next 24 hours of rest can give us. What do we need from Shabbat this week? Now that we have welcomed the Sabbath bride, we will continue now with Chatzi Kaddish. If you were taking that moment to close your eyes, I'm sorry. Back to normal lights here. So if you're following along with a prayer book, we're on page 26 or up here on the screens, and we invite you, if you are able to, please rise.
Yikadal v'yikadal shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'amati v'rachute v'yamlik malchute. B'chayechon u'yomechon uv'chayei kol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei dekudesha berichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma ve'imeru.
Amen.
Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated, and we'll continue with this reading on page 27, Teach Me. Feel free to join along with me. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruits so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We continue with our prayer Ma'ariv Aravim in appreciation of creation and the bringing on of evening. Please join me in the Hebrew and then the English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which the time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We'll now continue with the singing of Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, great abundant is your love for the people of Israel, with the beautiful melody by Debbie Friedman, truly an incredible leader, musician, whose yahrzeit we are remembering this evening. Ahavat Olam.
Beit Yisrael,
We'll continue with reaffirming the oneness of God and the divinity that lives in each of us and in all living things. I invite you, if you are able, to please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Elohim mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lachtecha v'derech v'shapecha v'kumecha v'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha v'chtavtam amam lizot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohim. As we continue singing our way through our service with Mi Chamocha, we acknowledge that it's still a few months away from Passover, but we are actually in the Exodus story right now in our Torah cycle. Not quite at the moment when the Israelites are crossing the Sea of Reeds, but we're getting there. So more on that later, but first we'll sing our prayer for freedom, Mi Chamocha. La 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 la. We'll continue now with Adonai Sefatai, beginning our Amidah, our standing prayers. So once again, we ask if you are able to please rise.
Na
Anna na 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 Svatite Anna na 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 Ufi Agi Ufi Agi Tehila
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagdol Hagibor v'Hanara El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Karnei Hakol V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Nagin Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia Mechakel hayim b'chesed Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim Somek noflim ve'rofei holim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato lishenei afar Michamocha ba'al gevurot Umidom melech Melech meimid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atal chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kodosh U'kedoshim b'chol yom yachalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated, and we'll take a few moments of silent prayer. If you have a prayer book using pages 54 to 60, wherever words may be in your heart, is Shabbat evening.
Shalom bimrom ha'av U'ya'aseh shalom aleinu Ve'yakol Yisrael Ve'yakol yoshvei tevel Ve'imru Shalom b'yomah, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel, ve'emru. Amen. Say shalom b'yomah, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, to all the world. What an uplifting melody to sing together in a time when we really do need it. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This week I spoke with a friend, Shael, who is Israeli. Until last week, he was serving in the reserves of the IDF. When I asked my friend how he and his family are doing, my normally very cheerful friend suddenly sounded more serious, more tired. And he said something along the lines of, "It's very hard, but we have to keep going." In this week's Torah portion, Va'era, Moses returns to Egypt to free the Israelites from bondage. But when he tells the Israelites that God will bring plagues and wonders to bring them out of slavery, something goes awry. The Israelites do not listen to Moses because of their kotsar ruach, their crushed spirits, and because of their hard labor. Rashi from medieval France, a commentator, sees kotsar ruach as literal. They are gasping for breath due to their hard labor. But a few hundred years later in Italy, Rabbi Obadiah ben Jacob Sforno writes that freedom did not appear believable to their present state of mind. So they had this kotsar ruach because their heart could not assimilate such a promise. So after 500 years, even conceptualizing freedom was impossible for the Israelites. Their souls were too confined. As a Jewish people today, we're not in the same situation as the Israelites in the Exodus story, to be sure. But the idea of kotsar ruach may still apply. This Sunday, we mark 100 days since October 7th and Hamas's brutal assault on Israel. 100 days of war. 100 days for over 130 remaining hostages, from elderly grandparents to now 1-year-old Kafir Bibas, who remain captive in darkness. For nearly 100 days, we have experienced historic levels of anti-Semitism. For nearly 100 days, our souls have been crushed, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, by the attacks on our people, the loss of civilian lives in Israel and in Gaza, and the state of our world. This week, Israel was forced to justify defending itself against Hamas in a UN court, when it is, in fact, Hamas who should be tried for acts of genocide. Hundreds of men made a fascist salute during a far-right rally in Rome. In Toronto, a bagel shop's windows were broken. And in Oakland, dozens of Jewish families are transferring their kids out of a school district that doesn't feel safe. These are just a few examples from this week of many over the last 3 months. We may have the privilege to distract ourselves at times to focus on something else, but it is also always there. We don't know how much longer this will last. And whenever the war ends, that will certainly not purge the world of the toxicity and virulence of anti-Semitism. It is not surprising then that we are perhaps feeling some kotsar ruach, and that a freedom mindset may be difficult to grasp. If kotsar ruach is one end of the spectrum, perhaps we see the other side later in our Torah portion. After each plague, you may recall that Pharaoh's heart hardens and he refuses to let the people go. In the span of our Torah portion, there is perhaps a warning that as difficult as it may be to turn off our empathy, to retreat, and to give up hope, we cannot allow our own hearts to harden. This long weekend, we can also look to the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for inspiration and resolve, as well as the many Jewish volunteers, advocates, and leaders during the civil rights movement, including my teacher, Rabbi Richard Levy of blessed memory. Along with 15 other rabbis, Rabbi Levy was arrested for praying in an integrated group in front of Monson's restaurant in St. Augustine, Florida. At 3 a.m. in their prison cell, they drafted a letter called Why We Went. Here is part of that letter. "We came because we could not stand silently by our brother's blood. We had done that too many times before. We came in the hope that the God of us all would accept our small involvement as partial atonement for the many things we wish we had done before and often. We came as Jews who remember the millions of faceless people who stood quietly watching the smoke rise from Hitler's crematoria. We came because we know that, second only to silence, the greatest danger to man is loss of faith in man's capacity to act. When the Israelites lost faith and capacity to act, they fell into kotzer ruach, a state of crushed spirit. They were unable to see any pathway forward, and indeed, it took a whole generation in the wilderness for them to be ready to enter the land as a truly free people. The Israelites could not imagine freedom, but we must continue to hold a vision of peace, wholeness, and safety, despite the many ways our world is broken and in desperate need of repair. These last few months may have felt like years, but as long as we continue to stand united, maintain open hearts, and actively contribute to repairing our broken world, we can stave off the kotzer ruach from seeping in. Let us take to heart the famous words of Dr. King, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." May each of us continue to be a light and to lead with love during these dark days. As we approach the 100-day mark, may we also especially keep our hearts open to the remaining hostages and their families, the torture they continue to endure without reprieve as time continues to wear thin. We continue to pray that they are brought home speedily and safely. In our tradition, we find comfort in community and song, just as we are here tonight. There is so much we cannot fix, but we can be together, we can send our love to those most in need, and we can open our hearts in prayer. So we'll now invite you to watch a short but very moving video of 1,000 Israeli musicians, along with some family members of the hostages, who came together to share not only a beautiful musical piece, but also a unifying message that the hostages must return home as soon as possible. Like my friend Shael said, we must continue to find ways to gather strength and unity and move forward, even under these very dark circumstances. Shabbat Shalom. with that very powerful song still echoing in our ears of Habaita, of home, we will join our voices with theirs as we turn to Misha Berach, our prayer of healing and wholeness, which we are, of course, sending to Israel, to the hostages, to their families, as well as many in our community who are also very much in need of healing. So we will continue to have open hearts. We'll think especially this evening of Jonathan Adler, Nancy Ashley, Lori Barr, Sarah Bates, Margie Block, John Bratta, Antony Castillo, Ann Clark, Bruce Cohen, Mia Cooley, Ella Dubrow, Marilyn Friedman, Alan Goldberg, Carolyn Goldmark, Beth Jasolowitz, Amotz Kohlheimer, Dan Lang, Minna Melton, Phyllis Miles, Lisa Pena, Ian Phillips, Rashi Pristowski, Stanley Radin, Jessica Rathkopf, Steve Rubenstein, Pam Shear, Rolf Sauer, Reed Wasserstrom, Fred Weiner, Ozzie Zimmer, and Shelley Zimmerman, as well as any names that you would like to share or folks you'd just like to think of at this time. For each of them and for all in need of healing, no matter what it might be, we'll sing together, Misha Berach. Roy Bryant, Rosemary Worm, and Pete Bowman will add their names as well.
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen.
We're going to begin concluding our service first with Bayom Hahu. On that day, a day not too far, hopefully, God's name shall be one.
Bayom
now invite you, if you are able to, please rise. As we turn to Kaddish Yatom, our prayer of memory, we recall that there are stars up above so far away. We only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. And as we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And we first recall those whom we have lost within the last 30 days and are observing Shloshim. We remember Gisela Canast, Neil Karen, Mike Butts, and Bernie Cohen. We're also recalling those whom we lost at this season in years past. We are remembering Louis Applebaum, Sidney Berg, Sam Block, Jerry Cohen, Marceline Creve, Abraham Estrin, Shirley Fewer, Adolph Freed, Francis Gibbo, Joseph Goldenberg, Sherry Cass Roth, Cheryl Landers, Norman Lazarus, Irving Laserwitz, Elmore Miles, Frida Minkin, Gary Naiman, Rose Prestowski, Nettie Rice, Betty Schuster, Isabel Seligson, David Shapiro, Cheryl Sokol, Jack Stern, Carolyn Threadgill, and Judy Weidenthal. If there's anyone whom you're remembering this evening, you're welcome to share their name aloud or just think of them in your heart. For each of them and for all those who have no one left to say Kaddish for them, we'll recite together page 294 or on our screens. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mivarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei dekudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We say zichronam livracha, may each of their memories be for blessing forever. Amen. You may be seated, and I'm happy to invite up Bobby for some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please join us in the mezzanine after services for a light oneg. Even though it's might be a quieter time of year on the temple calendar, there's still plenty to look forward to in January. Tuesday, January 16th is our next Juicy Jewish Topics session on Tu B'Shvat. That's 11 a.m. here at the temple. Sunday, January 21st is a busy day, a bunch of things happening. We have a J Camps info session at the religious school at 9:30 for those parents who are interested, parents and kids interested in summer camp. Next session of American Jewish History with Carol Hirsch is at 11 a.m., also at the JCC. And then we have the Crafting Crew Affinity Group meetup here at the temple at 1 p.m. Thursday, January 25th is the next lunch bunch session, and that will be with food scientist Matt Teagarden here at the temple at noon. And then lastly, Friday, January 26th is our Tu B'Shvat Shabbat Services at 6 p.m., followed by, it's not the fourth Friday, it's what, third Friday? No, it is fourth Friday, yeah. So, well, abbreviated Seder, Tu B'Shvat Seder, and then afterwards, if you're interested, there's a group of people who will be going out to 101 Beer Kitchen in Gehenna. For all of this and more, check out the weekly window, give us a call, shoot us an email, more than happy to help you. With that, Shabbat Shalom, and stay warm this weekend.
Thanks, Bobby. We'll now continue with our closing song, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, still may there be shalom, peace, and wholeness for all of us. For the world will sing shalom and salam. May there be peace.
Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, ve'hakulam. Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, ve'hakulam. Salam aleinu ve'hakulam, salam, salam, salam. Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, ve'hakulam. Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, ve'hakulam. Salam aleinu ve'hakulam, salam, salam, salam. Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, Oyevo shalom aleinu, ve'hakulam.
Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. I know we've got some kids here, so anyone who wants first dibs on the challah, I'll bring it over even. We'll sing Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is sung. Why, you want to come here too? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
First hits. You can just really pull. There we go. Like the one that gets on? A little bit. Anyone else want some challah?